Next question says, I've noticed my RPE chart percentages for my bench are way off. For example, I was supposed to work up to a bench touch and go, single at 8, then 10 reps at a 10, plus 3 down sets. My single was at 275, but according to the RPE chart, I needed to hit 220 for my set of 10. I ended up doing 245 for a set of 10, which is around 81 or 82% of my estimated 1 rep max. I know you have an article about customizing the RPE chart, but when would be the best time to do it? Or does it just mean that I really suck at singles? Do you see this often with trainees? When would be the best time to customize your RPE chart? Hard to say. All things being equal, at the beginning of a training cycle is a good time to do it. Because anytime that you customize that RPE chart, you have the likelihood of affecting your estimated 1RMs. And that can, if you drastically affect your estimated 1RMs, that could kind of lead to some crazy conclusions in terms of progression. However, you noticed a pretty notable inaccuracy. My recommendation to you in particular would be to change it sooner rather than later, even to the point where you could change it now. You can change it on an ongoing basis if you want, just so long as you realize that the drawback to doing that is that every change that you make to the RPE chart is going to throw off that estimated 1RM estimation a little bit. So in your case, change it sooner rather than later, and yeah, I would do that. Just understand what effect it's going to have. And as far as whether or not I see this often, I do see it pretty often. I mean, I think the standard chart gets you pretty close for most people most of the time, especially if you're more on that high intensity end of the spectrum. The further you get away from that, the more variation we see, the more room for error there is. And that's what you noted. So what you're talking about is down on the 10 rep end of the spectrum, you know, and you noted a 7 or 8% margin of error. Yeah, I mean, that's a lot. So, you know, that's something that we do see from time to time. And it just so happens that people are capable of, you know, a lot of different reps at a given percentage, you know. So take the project momentum that we have going on now. Now, I haven't had a chance to fully analyze the data, but we did do some initial analysis on the preliminary testing. And one thing I can tell you, some of the preliminary testing we had them do is a max number of reps with 80% of their 1 rep max. Now, we just tested their 1 rep max, so we should have an accurate 1 rep max to work off of. Now, max reps ranged from, I believe, 4 was the lowest. So someone with 80% could only complete 4 reps. And then on the high end, we had somebody do 15. So 80% of 1 rep max would produce 4 reps for some people and 15 reps for other people. Now, on average for most people, it was 7 or 8. You know, the vast majority of people were 7 or 8. However, there are those outliers. Now, it's basically in, you know, semi-normal distribution. So most people are getting that 7 or 8, and then the further out you go, the more rare it is to find those people. So for you to get 8 reps at 82% or so is not, I mean, that's a little bit outside of normal, but it's not at all rare.